Yo, what up, bros? Happy New Year. Welcome to 2023, and I hope you started off your year with hanging out with our good friend, Sister Cassia, and that you have been running your blights and have been enjoying blight to the fullest. Now, if you've been hanging out in stream, you've been noticing over the past couple of days that I have been working really hard to farm my mage blood. And today, I present to you my leather belt. Yeah! In other news, we do and have managed to farm 4 of the required 5 cards for Mage Blood. 2 of these cards have been done through the Wing Sextant strategy. If you've seen the video, you know exactly what I'm talking about, where you farm a bunch of infinite Sextants for Wing Scarabs and you just go harvest indefinitely. If you haven't, there's a link to the video down below. You can find that. And if you are doing it and you're making a ton of money and it's working great for you, heck yeah, let's go. But today, I'm going to present to you something new and something a little bit different. A bunch of people in my Discord have brought this strategy to my attention. A couple of my friends have been doing it. A lot of people have been talking about it. And it seems that there is a way to do a strategy to give you the maximum amount of a chance to get high-ticket divination cards. Now, I'm doing this strategy in Crimson Temple. This strategy, for me, has given me 2 of the required 5 cards for Mage Blood. 2 I managed to buy doing the Infinite Wing, and 2 I've managed to farm up myself doing the strategy that I'm going to show you today. Now, this strategy is really good. I think it's a lot of fun. Do I think it's the best profit per hour? No, but I think it's still pretty good. I did this strategy, and I did a 22 map test. over 22 maps, I've managed to farm 19 divines. Yeah, my 22 map test. So in my 22 map test, I got 16 divine that was tab. I've gotten 3 Divine Orbs, 2 Dragonheart cards, 1 7-year bad luck, 52 Crimson Temples, and a bunch of other really cool things. So now, my strategy revolves around going into Crimson Temple or going into Colonnade or going to Burial Chambers or Spider Forest and choosing whichever div card that I want to farm for and giving me the max amount of opportunity to do that. I'm doing that with strongboxes. I'm doing that with Harbinger. I'm doing that with Divination Scarabs. I'm doing that with Abyss. And I'm doing it on Crimson Temple. And we'll talk about the map and we'll talk about everything in a minute. But first, let me show you the Atlas tree. My Atlas tree has Abyss on it. I think Abyss is actually secretly really, really good. I think a lot of people are underestimating how strong Abyss is. And I will explain to you why in a second. Now, I start off my tree down here. I take this entire strongbox wheel as these small nodes give you additional monsters and pack size. I think monsters and pack size are pretty good. I come up this way to block. I'm blocking the following content that you see. This is content that I don't want to engage with and content that I don't want to do. Currently, with this strategy, I think blocking is really good. Depending on the map that you're doing and depending on what your character can do and the type of content your character can do, you might want to choose different blocks or farm different things. Metamorph is really good. Legion's really good depending on the map you're on, and so forth and so on. So I think that's a really good, you should pick and choose what content you want to do. The strategy itself is very flexible, so you have options and you should take advantage of those options. I also took these shrine nodes here. I like having an additional shrine on my maps. I think shrines are really good. I think shrines give a lot of power to the player that normally isn't there. I take the Harbinger node, as Harbinger is a big part of our strategy. Harbinger is really strong in this league, and all of the rares that spawn on Harbinger could have a lot of explosion, give a lot of loot. I found a lot of my Dragonheart cards from Harvest. I found a lot of my 7-year bad luck cards from Harvest. I've actually found so many 7-year bad luck cards I managed to make a mirror shard plus extra cards. We're taking this entire Harbinger wheel here. The additional stacks of currency shards is really good. The additional Harbinger is really good. And having your Harbinger do everything faster is very good. We take this small Abyss wheel here, as this gives us more monsters. More monsters, more chance at loot, more chance at loot, more chance at div cards. We're also going to be taking Fortune Favors the Brave. 10% quantity, rarity, and pack size. You really can't go wrong. Fortune Favors the Brave this league seems like a must, and I highly encourage you to do it on every single map. You will make an infinite amount of bubblegum currency, an infinite amount of chaos doing this, so paying for the cost of Fortune Favors the Brave is not something that you even need to worry about, as you'll make it all back. I take this pack. I take... What's up, Gabe? I take this note here because I want at least more magic packs. I think magic packs... Gabe's got me laughing. I think more packs with more monsters is really good. And sometimes you hit Domination on your Fortune Favors the Brave, so it's just a bunch of free extra mobs. We're going to take Daddy Harbinger because the Harbinger boss is really strong and it drops a lot of loot, and if all of them convert up, we're really happy. Typically, we're going to take all the quant nodes, we're going to take all the quant and rarity nodes. We're going to come over here. I am doing the blue side, as the blue side gives us more quant altars. If you want more consistent currency, go red. It is really easy in this strategy to choose which side that you want to do. You can take out these 4 points here, these 4 points here, and this little 5th travel node. And you can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you put your 4 points up here, and it makes a really easy swap. I like the blue side a lot. I like the dopamine and the rush of trying to hit the divine altar. I think it's really good. I like all the extra quant since we're doing strong boxes. Quant on strong boxes is really good. And I think quant with harbingers is really good. But that's just me. Now, you might not like that, and you might want to do the red. The strategy itself is very flexible, and I highly encourage you to do and choose which side you find to be better. On top of that, we also take all the strongbox nodes. Sometimes while doing this strategy, you will get a lot of strongboxes depending on the type of scarab that you're using. And sometimes, I've had it happen once, where they're all divination boxes, and it feels great. And sometimes you get a lot of currency boxes, and it feels great. So, I heavily encourage you to take these nodes because it's a very major part of our strategy. Lastly, we're going to be taking the big wheel for Abyss up here. This is going to give us more monsters per pit. This is going to give us the chance for more pits. A pit is when the Abyss starts spawning and starts going and it comes into the ground and mobs spawn out of it. That is a pit. The final node gives us up to 4 pits, which is a lot of mobs because we don't want to go into the Abyssal Depths. The Abyssal Depths isn't factored in by our Atlas tree or the map we're on, so going to the depths doesn't mean or do anything for us at all. So we want more pits. Crimson Temple, Abyss seems to be a little buggy, but I think Crimson Temple is still a good map choice. But if you're doing Colonnade or Burial or Spider Forest or Burial Chambers, Abyss I think is going to be really, really good. Spew out a lot of extra mobs. It's going to have a lot of rare mobs. I've had a lot of loot explosions, a lot of Scarab explosions, a lot of fractured explosions. I think the Abyss rares are very good and very worth putting on your Atlas. Also, I'm going to be taking this for Delirium reward type still faster. Because we're Abyss, because we're Harbinger, because we're Delirium, we get a lot, and I mean a lot of rewards. And we're also taking these small nodes that give us 10% increased reward. So these small nodes will let us substitute out the Sextant for increased Delirium bars. Now, on a really good juice map, I've gotten 11, 12, 13, 14, even 16 rewards. And since we're doing the map boss last in this strategy, we can get 13 bars, push it all the way up, go over and hit 14, because this will just push us all the way. And I think that overall, it's really solid and really strong. Now, as I've mentioned, this strategy itself, you might need a little bit of a stronger character. You might need, just to be able to survive. The maps are rolled pretty high and pretty hefty. I have heard that there is a version of this with Wandering Path that's really good with 8 modded maps. I have not tested that yet. If you've tested that and it's really good, please leave a comment down below. I'd love to know about it. Maybe that's the better way to do this. I like this a lot. And like I said, I've talked to a bunch of people in my Discord who have told me that this is what they're doing and this is how they've gotten their cards. I've mentioned I found 2 Apothecary cards. I found 7 Dragonheart cards. I've made an entire Mirror Shard from cards. And it's been working out really well. I've also gotten 2 full Enlightened 3 sets out of this. So overall, I think it's very good. And the rush and the dopamine from killing every pack and the possibility of things exploding out of it are really good. Now, if you've been doing my wing scarab farm, you probably have a lot of wing scarabs. And if you're like me, you notice that the price of wing scarabs is a little bit lower. Sometimes it's a little bit higher. Sometimes it's harder to move them. Sometimes you just sit on them. Sometimes you have an abundance of them. I've been using my wing sextants every so often here and there to test different things. All of my Apothecary cards have come from gilded scarabs, but if you have an abundance of wing scarabs lying around, it's not a bad idea to use them in this strategy, as 9 strong boxes is really good compared to 5. Same thing with Harbingers, 7 compared to 4 is really good. So the investment goes up, and wing sextants or wing scarabs themselves are not very expensive right now. So if you have the extra bit of currency, I highly recommend you invest into it. Now with our maps, I've been doing Crimson Temple. I roll my maps. You don't have to roll Beyond. I just happen to get a map with Beyond. I'll be running this map at the end of the video so you can see what a map looks like and how the loot comes out of it, and you'll see that at the end. There'll be a chapter, you can skip right to it. I'm putting on Cartographer Scarabs or Cartographer Delirium Orbs on all of my maps, as I feel like so they pay themselves. Getting 12, 13 rows of loot, I have managed to see a ton of serious maps, a ton of elder maps, a ton of shaper maps, and all of those are just free extra currency. As you saw too, I've managed to farm a multiple amount of Crimson Temples, and this is just extra currency in the bag that I'll be able to sell to other players, and I think is really strong. Now for Sextants, I'm using strongboxes are enraged, 600% increased quantity. Along with the blue side, if I get all the altars that give me more quantity, that quantity is stacked onto this quantity. So if you do the boxes last, you'll get a ton of extra quantity on your boxes, and it's really good. I'm taking strong boxes are at least corrupted and rare, and give you 3 additional strong boxes. More strong boxes, the better. Also, with this sextant, we could substitute out this node, and we don't need this node here, which is really good because it gives us another point to move around on our tree. I'm doing Beyond. I like Beyond a lot. I think Beyond is really good. If your character can't handle Beyond, there are plenty of other options. There is the Harbinger Sextant, which might be really good. There is Mysterious Barrels that have been told are really good. You can pretty much put anything in the last 2 spots. I think Harbinger is really good. I think Beyond is really good. And then finally, I have Abysses. Because we're doing Abyss on the Atlas tree, I think more Abysses the better. And because we're going to be doing a bunch of different maps and testing out a bunch of different card farms, the more mobs, the more chance that, you know, your patients, your doctors, your mage blood cards, your whatever you're farming. So that is what I'm doing there. But yeah, hopefully you guys have some good results. I know, like I said, I've managed to run, I think, at least 100, maybe 150 maps. I've gotten 2 mage blood cards out of it already. I did my Winged Sextant farm. I bought the other 2 cards, and I'm living on the copium that this last card will fall. Otherwise, I'm getting pretty close from doing this strategy. Doing this strategy alone, I've managed to get up to 33 Divine Orbs in profit. I have a ton of materials to run more maps. I'll spend some of my Divines to go buy more Sextants. But as you can see, I've gotten thousands of alterations, thousands of fusings, and just like the money is there. It's not like crazy profit, but it's good, consistent profit. And I would say give it a try. If you like it, heck yeah, let's go. If you hate it and there are other things you'd rather be doing, please let us know. But for me, I think this is a lot of fun. I think the thrill and the excitement of putting myself in a position for this to happen is really good. And once we get the mage one, I'm probably re-rolling Stormbreath. So I'm looking forward to it. But for now, have a happy new year. If you haven't already, I highly encourage you to join the Discord. The Discord is very active. And if you're going to be running this strategy and you have questions, there's a lot of people doing it. And we'll be happy to answer all your questions. And I'd love to just hear about your success if you're doing it. Because if you're successful, we should tell people. And if you're having trouble, we should help you fix it and get there. So otherwise, if you want, head on over to the Twitch stream. I'll not be live today, but I have a schedule on my Twitch channel that you can check out, and you'll know when I'm going to be live again. I'll be doing this strategy all week. I like the strategy a lot. I think the dopamine's really good, and then I'll be rolling on the weekend. So if you want to watch the leveling process, I will be there as well. And lastly, thank you guys for being here. I look forward to spending 2023 with you. 2022 in the end of it was amazing, and thank you guys for welcoming me as a Path of Exile content creator. I couldn't be here without you. Just genuinely thank you. But for now, so long. Have a wonderful new year. Stay safe. Good luck with finding your divines and your apothecaries. I know me. I'm going to be hopping into this map in about a minute and showing it off. But for now, so long. Have a wonderful evening. Farewell, friends. Goodbye.